Have you heard about this personal and professional podcast?
Coaching in Session
with your host, Michael Rearden.
So I was thinking the other day, I was like, episode 500 is coming out. What am I going to do? Is it going to be a big party? Is it going to be a celebration? And then I just said, it's going to be business as usual. I said, I'm going to be changing up some things. I'm going to be doing a couple of things that are going to be different. But the reality is the podcast is going to be the podcast. Coaching in Session is still going to be Coaching in Session. We're going to have our blog episodes, our Wednesday episodes, maybe even double a week guest episodes. It depends on many different aspects to what we're trying to do, what we're trying to promote. But the reality is we want to give you the best information possible. Because I have done something over these past 499, now 500 episodes of Coaching in Session, is I wanted to instill as much value as I possibly could to an individual, to a community, to the world. It was not an easy thing to commit to 500 episodes. It's maybe not going to be an easy thing to commit to 1,000 episodes or 2,000. I don't know how long I'm necessarily going to go. I know there is going to be a limit for how I'm doing it for like season 1 and then season 2. But the progress that we have made has been astounding, where we can see many podcasts, they kind of come and they kind of go. They might do like 24 episodes. This is what I do with Mindset OD, where we had season 1 all video on Instagram. And now we do X Live Spaces. And it's a different dynamic, but we can look at, are we going to get back to the video stuff on Mindset OD? We will. The issue is not so much of if we are doing video or not. It's all about the conversation. Because the conversation is not going to stop. Your development shouldn't stop. Think of it as a goal. Let's say you have a goal in life. You want to be a millionaire or something like that. If you make $1 million, are you going to say, well, I made $1 million, I'm going to stop? No, you're not. The goal is you made $1 million and now you're going to make 2 million or 5 million or 10 million or 25 million, right? There is no end. They say the hardest million is the first million. And then after that, it becomes easy, right? Do you know why that is the case? It is because now your brain has deemed this as possible. I can see this happening. This is a possibility for myself. This is something that, guess what, is a possibility. If you don't think it's possible, then of course you're going to get in your way. You're going to give yourself the excuses. You're going to give yourself the responsibility of not giving yourself the dream that you have of being a millionaire or the goal of yourself not being a millionaire. It might seem common sense, like, hey, if I want to have this in my life, I have to go do the things that are going to help me get it. But yet many people, they are thinking in their mind, what can I do? How do I get it? And if you are not necessarily doing what you need to do at any given point, then it might seem like, well, today's an off day. Get back tomorrow. Then tomorrow turns into a week and then a month and then a year. And before you know it, you're like, oh, I have to get back on the horse. That happens in all aspects of our life. We let our body go. We let our mind go. We let our career kind of go in this rat race type of mindset and style. We allow our relationships to deteriorate. We stop investing in them, in ourselves, in our family. And we wonder, why do we feel so bad? And we wonder, what are we going to do next? One of the things I wanted to do with Reven Concepts, not so much Coaching in Session, was I wanted to create a dynamic style of coaching. And it is dynamic. I mean, you're going to get ice cold and you're going to get fiery hot. This is not to say that when we coach an individual, we get to choose what they are going to get. We give them what they need. Think of it as, I don't know if you remember the movie. I think it was called The Golden Child with Eddie Murphy. During that movie, he went and he got, what do you call it? A pendant that it was like a necklace. And there was this really nice one. It's like a blue one. And he was like, I want this one. I want this pendant. And then the kid that gave him the pendant, I don't know, it's like the Oracle or the Golden Child, he gave him a different type of pendant. And he was like, no, I don't want this pendant. I want this one. This is what I paid for. And sure enough, fast forwarding, spoiler alert if you haven't watched the movie, but it is an old movie, so you might not watch it. The pendant saved his life because he was given something that he needed versus something that he wanted. What are some things that you need? Not that you want, that you need. Do you need help? Do you need a kind word? Do you need a helping hand? Do you need a kick in the butt? Sometimes everyone's going to be in a different predicament, a different scenario. And there's no right or wrong way to do life. What I will say is, if we are going down a path and we're not seeing progress, we have two choices: to stop, to figure out if where we're going is going to lead us somewhere good, it's going to lead us further away from our goal, or is part of the journey. Or if we just have to say, you know what, this is not the path that I want to be on anymore, let me start to make some adjustments. Or let me get help. Let me ask for help. Think of like if you're driving and you're just cruising, your phone died, you don't have maps or anything. So you're like, I'm supposed to be going in this direction, I think. And before you know it, you're like, okay, I need to get gas. You get to the gas station, your phone's still dead. There is no map. What are you going to do? You can ask the attendant. That's probably the wisest thing to do. Hey, how do I get to X, Y, and Z place, right? Oh, you have to go that way. And that way was literally the direction that you were coming from. So that means somewhere along the line that you passed it, you missed it, something happened. What would have happened if you stopped sooner? I need help. I'm going in the wrong direction. Or I think I'm going in the wrong direction. This is something that many people don't realize in their life. They don't realize that they can be doing the right things most of the time. The reality is, if you want to make an adjustment, you should do it before it's too late. Think of it as building a house. And there's so many analogies. I mean, you can use, I know I gave a bunch already, but if you're building a home, builders don't like it when you start to change things after the plans have already been set. For example, I'm building a kitchen, and all of a sudden I want to have 2 freezers in the kitchen. So they might say, well, we only have room for 1 freezer like we planned for, because now we have to create different types of plumbing and we have to do all of these different types of cabinets and stuff. People don't realize that when we have a plan, we're developing it. But one of the things about coaching is it's super flexible. It's extremely flexible. We can have a plan, and then all of a sudden we need to make a modification. We make the modification. It's called a pivot. And as we pivot, from 500 to 501 and all the way up to 600 and 700, 800, 900, 1,000, what is the pivot? Where we are still trying to make an impact. We're still trying to continue with the best content possible for an individual. I encourage people to start to share the episodes, to start to ask themselves questions, to take notes, allow it to be school. We have something coming up next year, 2025, that's going to be very close to school and college, and it's going to be a wonderful thing for an individual to do because it's going to be just knowledge and education based. Coaching in session is going to be so many different types of mindsets and ideas that you can utilize in your mind and think about. This is going to help you with all aspects of your life. Most people who listen to the podcast, they send me email or just a comment or whatever. They say, oh, I never would have thought of it that way. Thank you for the insight. All right. Now, this is not like you have to sign up for coaching or anything. This is mindset. All right. How our minds are moving, right? We are living in turbulent times. You want to call it that. The issue is we are not paying attention to how our mind is moving naturally. So if we're not paying attention to how our mind is moving, the problem is if we are not going to make some adjustments, what's going to happen long term? Well, the long term problem is going to be we are going to struggle. We are going to keep on going in this direction, and we're going to figure out, well, you know what? If I want to make some changes in my life, I need to first become accountable. This is what always Reven Concepts was, giving the accountability back to you, taking it out of the court of circumstance, taking it out of the court of society and of the world, because the world has already done their damage. People have already done their damage. What is there and what is left? You, right? You might be a mess, like you might be shattered and broken and brittle, but it doesn't mean that you cannot get strong again. It doesn't mean you cannot enhance yourself. People think if they had a bad life, they had a bad moment, that they can't change, they can't elevate, they can't turn around, they can't pivot. Today's that pivot. Today's that opportunity for you to wake up that it is possible. It might not seem like, things are going well and smooth and everything is going my way, but things are not supposed to go smooth all the time. Sometimes things are going to be bad, and there's nothing wrong with that. We acclimate to it. We grow from that. Challenges and failures help us grow more than successes. That's just how it is. And heck, you might have a failure every single day. You failed, and you might even be thinking in your mind, am I supposed to be doing this? And there is a secret, I guess you could say a method or a structure that you can use or utilize to figure out, is what you're doing important, right? The why. Why are you even doing it? Like, do you even care? They say, like, if you have a job or something that you love, you're supposed to be able to do it and not get paid. So, like for me, mindset coaching, I don't mind doing a podcast Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Join us. Listen in. Share, not share. That's up to you. The goal is to help individuals who might not be able to afford coaching, who might not even know that they need coaching. Also to show people that there's going to be different cups of tea. And the cups of tea are different coaches. There's just so many educators out in the world. And it's not about who has the fanciest degrees and the nicest car and the biggest home. This is beyond that. Because at some point, I would give up the house. I would give up cars. And again, I have a very low key life, which I like. I don't wear jewelry or stuff like that. But if I had it, I would give it up. I would give it up. And I would say, this is me. This does not make me happy. People think that if they get a nice car, they get a big house, it's like, oh, I'm going to be happy. Get a bunch of money, I'm going to be happy. Guess what? If you make, well, with inflation, it might be up to like 200,000 now, right? But they said that, happiness was like capped at $75,000, right? Or 120. And there's not really a big influx to how much happier you're going to be if you get more money. Just because you spend more doesn't mean you're going to be more happier. As a parent, for example, they say it's not so much about how much money you spend with your children or on your children than it is for how much time you invest in your children. Now, I understand you can invest in a Disney World trip. You can invest in an Italy trip or Hawaii trip. Yeah, these are great things to do with your family. But at the end of the day, they're going to care that you were there with them. Because if you never took them on a vacation and you just kind of did things in your local neighborhood, maybe going to the lake, maybe you go to a local fair or something along those lines, they're going to appreciate those things. It's not about what they didn't have growing up. It's about what they did have growing up and what you shared with them. I understand parents today, they say, I want to give my children the life that I never had. And that's a very dangerous mindset with the individual and their child, because now they're trying to give them a perfect life. And there is no perfect life. So that child, even you think you're doing everything for them, right? I'm doing this for you, sweetheart. You're going to have the life that I dreamed of. Don't get me wrong, they're going to have a good life. But at some point, they're going to say something was missing. What was it? What was it? Because maybe you had to sacrifice some time with them to help give them the life that you never had. You have to work 40, 60 hours a week or whatever it be to help provide this lifestyle that you're trying to give them. Yet, you put me in a forest in a cabin with no internet, my kids, and we're going to have a blast. What's the difference? It's the mindset. Our mindsets have changed over the years, and they are going to continue to change over the years. Because we can go back to episode 1 of Coaching in Session, and everything has changed. And we do have a little audio issue coming up, but guess what? Everything is going to be fixed and smooth, and we are on a new platform now, and things change, and it's okay. Things are not perfect, and it's okay. I understand things are going to not work out my way sometimes, or I'm going to say everything is perfect, and then when I press play and things are not perfect, I'm like, that wasn't perfect. Life is not about being perfect. It's not about saying, okay, I'm going to give my kids a life I never had, or I'm going to live the life that no one else is living. What life do you want to live? Most people don't even realize it. They're on this journey of life and they're going down this path, and they might be doing good things in their life. I'm not saying that they're not, but at some point we need to pay attention. At some point we need to say, you know what? If I am not satisfied, am I going to make some adjustments? Coaching in Session is that adjustment where I'm more of a yin and yang type of person, not bipolar by any means, but yin and yang is a better term. I call it the sugar and spice method, where I can be sweet and I can be spicy, right? The sugar is nice. The spicy might not be so nice for some people. Spicy can sometimes be something that people are looking at as you have a different view. I do this a lot on Twitter, or on X now, it's X, where I have this grifter type of behavior. I do it on purpose because there's still motivational stuff going out. If someone's sending me a DM, it's a totally different demeanor than what I'm putting out there, because sometimes you have to be the villain. You have to be the enemy to spark that. Think of it as this. And I don't mean to point at anyone here in Coaching in Session, but I'm just going to point and use it as an example. Let's say someone is financially unfit right now, right? Let's say they're going out and they're gambling all of their money. They're not able to provide for their family, and it's a very tough situation for everyone. I'm going to say something mean, right? In quotation marks. I'm going to say, you need to stop this, because this right here is not benefiting you or your family. You're wasting your life. You're wasting your funds. You're wasting everything that you're doing. And you're not doing the things that are going to be productive and proactive to fulfillment, success, and abundance in your life. Stop what you're doing. It does not make sense. Do you not see that? It's a bit rough, right? But it wasn't that rough. I'm a lot more rough on X, right? Politically correct podcast here. A nicer version would be this. I know you're trying to find the easy way out. Life is not about the easy way. We have to figure out what we can do to help curb this addiction of gambling and trying to, get the quick fix. Let's do it step by step, and we can do it together. Let's figure that out. What would be the first step for us to do? Would it be to give someone else the control of money, to focus on what bills need to be paid first, to get an additional stream of income? Let's look at how we can do that together. All of these things we might not necessarily know, but they're going to lead to something good. That was a lot nicer. Sugary is a lot more wordy because we are looking for the right words to kind of go and permeate your mindset, versus another one is like a blunt force. Boom, I'm hitting you with the problem. You have an addiction. You have a gambling problem. You have an addiction to porn or drugs or whatever, alcohol. You are not the best person, right? You are overeating, right? I'm hitting you with a blunt. It's spicy, all right? It could be hard. It could hurt. Some people don't like that type of method, but sometimes the best methods are going to be ones that are always there to be utilized. As a parent, right? There's so many different types of parenting. Are you just going to be sweet when your son or your daughter burning down houses in the neighborhood? Oh, stop that. Please don't burn down the houses anymore. No, you're going to say, stop it. You have to be firm. You have to be saying, this is what we need to be focusing on. For the people who don't realize that they're trying to sugarcoat things for certain people, I encourage you to reinvestigate your words. Sometimes you have to tell people the hard truth, that we're not about living in delusion anymore. We can't just pretend everything's going to be okay, and it's not. There's a meme of a dog, and I guess he's eating pancakes or something. I don't know what he's doing, but it's like a cartoon. The house is on fire or something along the line. And he's like, everything's okay. Everything's going to be all right. And he's just sitting there at the table, maybe about to eat some breakfast or something, right? Get out. Call 911. Get a fire extinguisher. Get the hose. Do something. Figuratively, our life can be like that burning house. We don't necessarily know that we're in it because we're just saying everything's going to be okay. And I am telling you that sometimes we have to feel the heat. We have to get spicy, right? But sometimes we can say, you know what? We have some leeway. And I don't know your situation, right? Unless I speak with you. I don't know where you are. I don't know how much time you have. And time not meaning like in life, but time meaning like, do we have time to take the long way to where we need to be? Or do we need to make some big changes right now? Because some people need big changes and some people need it in small incremental steps. Because when it's small incremental steps and it's bite-sized and it's simple and it's easy and it's comfortable, people are more likely to do that long-term, develop the habits and to keep that a consistent, versus someone who does it for the moment because they have to, they have a higher chance of relapse. I'm not sure which one are you. You have to figure that out. And if you can't figure it out, heck, reach out to us. RevenConcepts.com. Sign up for a consultation. They're free. This is opportunity for you to not only commit to yourself, but for you to look at the areas that you would like to make some adjustments in, not only for yourself, for the people around you. The most important people, maybe your mom, your dad, grandma, grandpa, brother, sister, cousin, auntie, uncle, son, daughter, nephew, niece. I mean, we can go down the line. Who is it? It could be a friend. It could be a coworker. It could be a boss, right? I'm not sure. But we all have something that we're vying for. Sometimes it can get clouded. We can have a hard time finding the meaning in life. If we stay steadfast and we start to look at the moments that can save our life, those are the moments that we're here for. Coaching in session is about the moments that we are there to instill someone with, invigorating them with something. Think of it, like there was a commercial back in the day. I don't know if it's still there. It was Irish Springs, or it was like a soap, like a bar soap. And whenever they use the soap, people go, smell it. And it was like, oh, it's so good. And it invigorated them and it allowed them to do so much things in their life. Sometimes we need that invigoration. Coaching in session can be that invigoration for many individuals. It could be that aspect to instill something, whether it be piece by piece. I mean, we have 500 episodes. You're going to find something there for you. You're going to listen to some guest episodes, hundreds of guests at this point, where we are making the move for where society is heading and needs to be going. Because if the plane is about to crash and we know the only thing we have to do is take the joystick and to bring it back so we can stop the nosedive and we can level out, why not do it? Sometimes we just need to be reminded. Sometimes we don't even know that we're in control of our life because it seems like life can be so out of control. Life does not have to be that. Get back control. Get back the life that you want to have. And if you have found yourself in a situation or a predicament and you need some help, ask. Just ask. It's only a click away, it's a call away. It's an opportunity away. It doesn't have to be rocket science. It just has to be what you're trying to do and what you're trying to get. And we have episodes again, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday on all these wonderful platforms. From there, just develop the plan and keep on making progress. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and do all those things that videos like. And we'll be back on the next episode. Everyone, take care.